Facebook.
Are you naughty? Did they think you did something wrong?
So I think what happened was...
You expressed an opinion.
No. It was my Paranormal Brew page, but I guess they linked me with the Paranormal Brew page. So I tried putting an event. My show is every Wednesday, you know? So Wednesday happened to be the inauguration. Oh. But I created an event for the Bigfoot guy that was coming on. And they must have thought it was like some cryptic hidden message to create some, you know, cult coming or something like that. And I was banned from like commenting or posting or doing anything on my page, on anybody else's pages or groups, everything. It was crazy.
It's crazy.
Oh. They thought you were an insurrectionist, maybe, because you tried to interfere with the inauguration.
Yeah.
Somebody might be looking at your show and not the inauguration, so that's why we did it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they did. They totally bans me.
Wow. Get the axe.
Megan said, "So glad you're not in Facebook jail." I know. Last week, nobody could find the show because, like, I had to go through Rob's Facebook and then try to post it and the links and everything. It was just insane. It was so crazy. Mm. But
Albert says, "I'm glad you're not in Facebook jail."
I know.
Who's that?
We're glad you're not. Otherwise, where would we be now?
Becky says hello. Hi, Becky.
Hello.
Taryn always causing trouble. No, I didn't do it on purpose. So what's going on? I feel like it's been forever. Even though we have our monthly date night, I feel like it has been forever.
I know, right? A lot has happened.
Yeah, so it's been the 4 weeks now. Yeah. Well,
I know.
We can talk about angels, or we can talk about demons, or anything.
Okay, so we can talk about both. I did have somebody on 2 weeks ago, that Athena, that the total opposite. Oh, I should have you guys on together.
Ooh, we should.
With Athena?
Yeah. So she was
like a mythological night.
Kenny the skeptic is in the house, everyone. He's joining us. Hey, Kenny.
Skeptic in the house.
Yeah. So I had Athena on. Here's my friend Al. Hi, Al. He's from SRS Paranormal, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I have to get down there. And Matt. Hi, Matt. Had they reached out to you? I told them, because they have a weekly show. I said that he was asking me about having guests on. I said, you need to hook up with you two.
No, they haven't.
Well, there. Thanks
for the shout out, Cameron. We love you, and we would love to be on your show if you reach out to us.
Yes, for sure. So what was I saying? I forget what I was saying. So wait, where's
you were going to ask where is Elise tonight?
Yeah. I thought she was going to be on from now on. No?
Elise is at home. She had something to do. She is president of the Johnston Historical Society. And we had a new member coming today, and he was making some purchases there. So she had to do that. Therefore, she was out all afternoon. So she decided it was better that she stay in tonight, but yeah, she wasn't sure up until
next month. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait till the grand unveiling of Elise Gianmarco Carlson on the Paranormal Brew channel.
I'll tell her she was spoken about and missed tonight.
Yes.
That'll rank her.
Hopefully, maybe she'll check in and say hi. And, I enjoyed having her on. She was awesome.
Definitely. And you know what, though, to Al James? Well, we'd love to be on, and I love the man with the name James.
Of course. So good things are back to normal this week. Yeah, I'm happy to be back on my page and everything. Yes. So in 4 weeks, has anything happened? Have we gone anywhere? Have we planned anything? Are you guys going anywhere? Booking anything? Did you slay any demons?
Yeah, we've been possessed each 10 times. Just we've been through the gauntlet, of fighting demons. No, not really. None of that actually occurred.
But we have been contacted by people with demonic problems, and it's strange. They think they might be possessed, and they're asking us, and suddenly they disappear. Suddenly we're not hearing from them again.
Yeah.
Really?
Perhaps we don't tell them what they hear.
Do you think that with all the, have you guys noticed like with like all the outside world BS going on, that it is inciting an uptick in negative cases?
It seems like the world is being shaken, doesn't it? Yes.
There's definitely something happening,
Well, I received a distress call that somebody feels they have a demonic spirit in their house, and I accidentally, which is very unlike me, I accidentally pressed the wrong key and deleted the message. And then, but I had a chance to check the message header where I could get the time that the person called. And it was somebody that I knew from the past, but somebody totally unrelated, it seemed, to the person who called. So that was a very, very strange call. A friend from the old days, Alan, said it was him. And I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. And how could that come up suddenly? And it was somebody else leaving the message. So kind of cross cards. That was strange. Hey, we have from Elise Giamacco Carlson. Hey, guys. I've explained why she couldn't be here. She had JHS, Johnston Historical Society duties, and they ran late. I was there for some of that.
Yeah. So you're saying, about the case, though, you're saying that it was somebody that you knew from a long time ago?
This call, I guess, decided to check my voicemail messages. I don't do that often enough. And this guy has this distress call. It was from 2 days ago. And he's like, actually, I think it would have been yesterday he would have called. And he's like, I don't know what to do. It's like things are moving in my house. I mean, I don't know what a demonologist does, but I need to talk to you. And I was just going to call him back, and I pressed the wrong key, and it went, deleted the message.
And there's no way for you to get a hold of him?
Apparently not, because almost always when I get a call, the number will come up, but the number didn't come up. There's no logging of his call, and as if he didn't call.
Mind you, people, and he has a flip phone.
Yeah. So that should parry mishaps.
So that also eventually, like, he doesn't have one of these. So that relates to the story. He does. Yeah, he has a flip phone.
Yeah, but that shouldn't interfere with the call. In fact, that should make it more secure that I get that call, because my numbers always come up, incoming calls. For some reason, there's no log of his call.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'll get the number. I'll just look it up when he called, and I don't see it there.
But it's weird. It's like, it stinks that you can't go back.
Yeah,
I know. Well, hopefully, maybe somewhere out there he will reach out. Huh?
Maybe he hears this tonight and he'll reach out, knowing Carl did not get his message.
Well, you do broadcast over the globe anyway, Taryn.
I mean, I'm like worldwide.
Yeah.
I'm Mrs. Worldwide. Totally kidding for anybody that's,
To relate to Carl's question, Carl's answer into your question. I think more is the perspective of humans. I think when we are in a darker time or a change, especially in America, we just had a pivotal change in America and, of course, the world as well. There are many things going on. We have all different perspectives, and people definitely jump to the mythos and occurrences of the beyond and a recurrence to what is going on. And I think, and sometimes that it is a possibility. I think we can emit these emotions, and maybe these things become of a construct, tangible perspectives, personalities. And, I think it's possible. And then, of course, there's other phenomena we don't know what we deal with. And I think that can intermingle with the energy that we put out. So I think sometimes what we do on a daily activity with all human civilization, I think it can affect some kind of shift. Of course, I don't know what it is. I don't know what a ghost or spirit or demon is, even though I think there are different feelings and characteristics of what we deal with.
Right.
But still, I think that we also, as humans, are the catalyst of why a lot of things go on.
You know, you could call it a dissociative paradigm.
Yeah.
It's something different. It's something that's entering our sphere.
Yeah.
That's getting more into us and pervading the world, because now there are more people than there ever were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More consciousness, collective consciousness, global consciousness, you know.
Well, I mean, and think about, I mean, like everybody's, you know, also, I think a lot more people are praying as well. You know, I've noticed that on Facebook. Like there's a lot more people
being sent out.
What?
More requests, more prayerful requests
Yeah.
being sent out. People are asking for things more. You're right, more prayers offered.
But a lot of people too, not to denote the fact that prayer is not powerful, but we also got to remember too, and I think this is where I laugh. You know, I'm key. I'll shoot from the hip here. Is that we also pray for a lot of self-prideful things, and that's
for sure.
why you should be praying either. We got to remember. I think prayer is effective, but remember what you pray for as well.
Right. Right. It's got to be for the right reasons. Right. So I can sit here and pray to win the lottery every day, all day long. But, you know, for you know, that's, you know, I'm saying like there's a lot of prayers going out because of the way the country is and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of whatever negative is happening, there's also a lot of the prayers from people that are going out, like saying like, you know, the energy isn't negative from behind the prayer. It's more like, okay, we're, you know, at God's will right now. So, you know, they're praying like whatever happens, you know, everybody's taken care. You know what I mean? Like we're going to be okay, you know? And so hopefully that combats whatever is happening, you know, negatively wise. Oh my gosh. And Megan. I think it's like Ghostbusters too. All the negativity is charging the goo that runs underneath us.
That's awesome.
Of course it is.
What was the main villain in the first one's name that it was prevalent? It was pretty part of the second one as well too. What's his name? Zool.
Oh yeah.
The thing that the dog's running and all that. Yeah, Zool, the gatekeeper, and all that. Yeah. I am the gatekeeper. I am the key holder. Yeah. That was cute.
Yeah, those movies are awesome.
Yeah.
So I had Athena on, and I love Athena, right? I know her, but I never knew that she researches and has these angel encounters.
Yeah.
Or talks to people that I never knew anybody had. And I didn't think about it. I've only been around one person that, and it was an archangel actually, like, you know, Saint Michael. And I was sitting there and I'm witnessing this interaction that this person is having. And, you know, this person was not in the paranormal field, was not, you know, he went from nothing to discernment and all kinds of stuff, like overnight. And it freaked him out, you know? And so he had this encounter with what he says was Saint Michael. You know, and once whatever battle was going on with him in that hour of that I was seeing whatever was happening, you know, he like threw up, started crying and this and that. And then afterwards comes through and he's just like, I touched the armor of Saint Michael, you know? And this is somebody that I trust them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that, you know, you could just tell when somebody is affected by something, you know, and then just saying it, like, it was like really, really like, it was crazy. And then she was saying, you know, I love her to death. And I don't mean any disrespect. But she had one point had said that she had seen Jesus Christ. And for me, not that I don't believe her. I think that maybe she believes that she did see, you know what I mean? And maybe she did. I'm not saying she didn't. But for some reason, I don't know why that kind of stuck out to me. Because do we really know what he looks like?
No,
we have
it's interpretive. Different people have different interpretations. He appears in different ways to people.
Yeah.
It's however they're going to perceive him, you know, and I don't know anybody personally who has, but I've heard of accounts. It's funny how the demons get more press than the angels, but sometimes the angels make appearances. These inhuman beings, the angels, the demons, seem to be pervading. They're coming in more. There's got to be something to it. Now, there's more of a populace. We have, what, 7.25 billion humans on the planet now, and it's of course, it's multiplying exponentially. You get all these people here. The world is getting crowded. So no wonder that we're having these inhuman visits. They seem more interested in us. You know what else is increasing? Is reports of shadow persons, these extraterrestrials, these vague nether beings that come through from apparently from another dimension, and we're hearing more of it. And they are equated with UFOs. So when there's a flap of UFO sightings, suddenly the shadow people start coming out. So what's up with that? It's like there's some chasm where they're walking through. It just seems like that from the number of reports we've been hearing. And even in my life, fluid things happening like that strange phone call. You had to.
That is strange.
I was just talking about this. It was a friend of mine from the old days. His name is Alan. And I didn't recognize the number, but when I got the voicemail, it said Alan. You know, it said his first and last name. I said, "What the heck?" I was just talking about him with somebody yesterday, and I had never told this person about Alan. And he's kind of a conjurer. He's a strange guy. I haven't associated with him for a couple of years, but mean to get back in touch with him. But then apparently he called, but somebody else left the message. So it's like, even for me that's involved in strange things and have eclectic interest, I'm saying this is downright weird.
Yeah, that is strange.
Synchronicity, bizarre coincidences are on the rise. It seems people I talk to have, that's too much to be coincidence. How could this happen? It's been happening more. It's been happening in my life. So what is this telling us? It's like a bell tolling. It's a knoll for some big change. Of course, in the country we had the big change. So say, political news has been downright amusing, hasn't it been?
Oh boy.
You don't even want to express an opinion because somebody's going to jump on you for it.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Well, I don't care. I'm, I say, everybody's calling me Miss Brew now because I said Mrs. Worldwide. So.
I like that, Miss Brew.
That's the nice name, Miss Brew. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not too quiet about how I feel. Everybody knows that I'm a Trumpy fan, so it's been a tough couple of weeks for me, but
my brother saying a trumpeter with a capital T.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
but yeah, so I think a lot of that is just so. Kenny said it means we need more rum.
Drink anymore, but that's I'll take some Coke.
That's a Jack Sparrow.
Now the Coca-Cola guys, Coca-Cola.
Right? It's like you can't say anything anymore.
I know you gotta be careful what you say. Oh, he said Coke. That guy does Coke. You say it.
No wonder he sees shadow people.
Yeah, right. That's why he sees demons. That's why he's so energetic all the time.
Yeah. But, so she had said something too to the effect where she theorizes that angels, which I've heard. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't believe it, but that they walk amongst us. I mean, I'm sure. And they can
not physically actually walk amongst us. In some sense, they walk amongst us. Yeah.
Maybe
she was saying that like physically,
people. Yeah.
Like I would look like a real person, but I'm really an angel. You know what I mean? Like walking amongst everybody.
Concealed. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I mean, and it's interesting. I mean, you hear of things maybe like that where, and I've heard it like when I was younger. I don't hear it that much anymore, but I'm starting to think that maybe it was like my parents telling me that, like, so that I'm good when I'm not around them. But
amongst us.
Yeah, like they look at, they watch, they do certain things to see how you react, and then to see if you would help to see if you would, do the good thing, and
that's the early ideological belief of what a daemon was, which a lot of that culture, that belief comes from.
Well, biblically, St. Paul said, be kind to strangers, because some, not knowing, have entertained angels.
Yeah.
Not even knowing that they were.
Yeah. They can see, they watch you. Yeah. Like, I think Athena, when I met Athena, I dug into some angel research as well. And I met a few people that had similar stories to Athena, had similar back pains, similar experiences and communications. I met like a total of 5 people so far that are like Athena and have these experiences. It's interesting to me. And they're very good people, but they're also very different too in their own sense. So, but they're all involved in this line of work by either helping people, doing energy work with people. And I don't think they're Cthulhu at all. I think they really believe in the ability that has been given to them. And I even think that there's a possibility that there could be some conceivement of them being angelic if in some thought, if we could understand what that truly is.
Yeah.
They're interesting people. And, I've been in great pleasure to know a lot of those people, Athena being one of them. I think it's fascinating. There's so much unknown to this world. And not just this world, but the universe itself.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I was even talking about it with the Bigfoot guy. He's like, because I asked him, I said, do you believe in just not Bigfoot, but do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Do you believe in the Jersey Devil? Do you believe in, and, he said, well, the ocean, we haven't even begun to even, explore half of what is out there,
what is that? People say that
80% we haven't discovered.
Physicists say we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the ocean.
Right.
You get into the deepest part, the Atlantic, the Marianas Trench. That goes way, way down, and we haven't even been to the bottom of that. But there are life forms around there. Life finds a way.
Well, I know that, knowing what I know now, that the first apparition, and probably the only apparition I've ever seen,
really,
to date, was underwater when I was like 8 years old. You know what I mean? So who knows?
It's interesting you found one underwater. I wonder why that was. The consistency.
Did somebody die there? Somebody drowned there?
It was at a lake. So in Atzion. So Atzion's, Pine Barrens.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I, not knowing any better,
There's somebody died.
What?
James was asking if you ever researched to see if somebody had died in that lake.
You know what? I didn't, because, like I said, I was like 8 years old, and at the time,
I do that.
It was cedar water. It's cedar water, and I looked down, and I thought I saw like a $1 bill or a $5 bill in the water. How I would see it, I don't know, but I did. So I went underwater to get this money, and as I'm under there, all of a sudden, it looked like a little boy to me. I don't know. But it was swimming at me so fast that I swallowed water because it scared the crap out of me. Yeah. I do know that I saw red swim shorts, and I remember his nose being real wide. He was real light skin, and he had dark hair. How I saw all this in cedar water, I have no idea. But it was I can see it as clear as I did then, right now, talking about it. And he came, it was like so fast towards me, and I swallowed water. I jumped up, I was like coughing. And as I was standing there, I'm looking and I'm waiting, and I was going to say sorry, because I thought it was he saw me like going after his money or something. Like, it was the only logical thing I could think of as to why he was like coming at me like that. So I got up out of the water, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and nothing came up. I didn't see anything. You know what I mean? Like, it was the craziest experience I ever had. I think what scared me was how fast it was coming at me. Like, it was just like, I really thought we were going to he was just going to run right into me.
It's fascinating.
You saw something that wasn't human, at least not living human.
Right. Right.
And he didn't bob back up.
Yeah, someone passed away. I would do some research on that now. It's like,
yeah. I mean, and even now, like I've talked about it, but I've never because it's Ation Lake, so I'm sure. I mean, it's always been open to the public. You could go there, but that was like a weekly thing for my mom. She was a single mom. She had me and my brother. She was like, I'm gonna take them to the lake and just hang out, let them do whatever they're gonna do, and I'll relax. So it was like every weekend. It was the only time I ever saw anything like that. And I didn't say anything to anybody because I thought I was crazy. Like I was just like, did I really? You second guess yourself.
Especially at 8 years old, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, what was that? And I was like, I just wanted to apologize to him. Like I thought he thought I was trying to steal his money or something. I don't know. It was so weird. It was just weird. But that was my first experience was underwater. So, and I've never seen anything like that ever again, out of water or anywhere, like it was crazy. Kenny thinks it was aliens.
Yeah, I was actually going to say UAP, underwater aerial phenomena, not aerial phenomena.
Well, we'll think of it.
What is it? What is it? UAPs now they call them instead of UFOs.
He quoted Giorgio Socrates. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
What did they say? UAPs.
UAPs.
Yeah. Unidentified aerial phenomenon now instead of
submersible.
Submersible.
Unidentified submersible phenomena.
Which one? Yeah.
That's when UFOs are seen going.
Yeah, I got it.
They enter the water. You see them overhead. They dive in.
Yeah, that's what the ideas of Atlantis being an underwater alien base.
Karen, it's just very obvious that there is this other dimensional reality that's parallel with ours, and there are things crossing over.
Yeah, something happens.
We can interpret them as some are angels, some are angelic, which are inhuman.
Or echoes of the past.
Oh, that's when you cross it. You're like, ding.
Yeah, somebody passed away in that water, and I think it is on a repeat. Maybe you were in a spot. Maybe that dollar or dollar bill you saw was maybe somebody did actually want to go jump for the dollar. So we are humans. We make silly judgment mistakes sometimes. So maybe actually somebody did go for the dollar and they drowned. So maybe you experienced that living moment.
You never got the dollar. You never found that, though.
Nope.
Maybe you encountered an undine. An undine traditionally is an underwater, an elemental associated with water.
With an emotion.
And they actually quasi-live. Their consciousness resides in water and becomes one with the water. So maybe that's another guess.
Maybe a merman.
Yeah, I mean, his facial features were very, like I said, I just remember his nose was so it was like all the way, like it was just so big. And I'm not meaning that to be mean. That was the one thing that I remember as fast as he was coming at me. I remember seeing and I just remember it was like so much wider than our normal noses. You know what I mean? It was like out to his cheek, it came out to his cheek. It was just.
That sounds vaguely amphibious, as if he had adapted to that. That's what
merman.
That's exactly.
I was joking, but it sounds like
because she had said it, the white nose. I remember that, and I was thinking maybe it's an undine. Maybe that's how maybe that's how an underwater elemental appears. Maybe it does look kind of human. Maybe they
like Pukwudgie has some characteristics.
Pukwudgie, you ever hear of Pukwudgie?
Yeah.
No. Oh wait, maybe.
They're more of a nature element, like Earth. Earth.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. With our powers combined, we create Captain Planet.
I have brought a lot of chocolate for James and me. Chocolate, it won't affect me, but it makes a profound difference in James's.
Well, I'm having a good time.
We are having a good time. This is not like very well.
This is not like a serious interview. We don't have to
I'm taking
give the paradigm shifts of why demons exist. Why?
Right.
What is the minute detail? How can we tell? they are demons can we see in a telescope?
I can tell her my underwater experience, besides almost having drowned a few times. But
well, did you have a near-death experience when you almost drowned? Did you see the light?
No, I was just flailing. I was in the beach when I was a kid. You
were trying to be an angel.
Yeah,
you trying to fly.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. This was 10 years ago, probably this year, 10 years ago, and I had a set of friends in Woonsocket, and the father had a boat. We were out in a fishing expedition, and we got into the dock, and I wanted to see if I could still swim. I swam, but I didn't have any goggles on, so it was blurry. So I went under the water and I swam around the boat, the circumference of the boat. And it was, some of it was shallow. When I got back to the shallow edge, I saw something shiny and shimmering. This is a true story. Saw something like silvery, whitish silver. And I reached down, I figured, how bad could it be? I reached down to pick it up to see what it was. I couldn't see with it, blurred. And I picked it up and it fell apart in my hand. And to my disgust and horror, I realized it was a fish that had been there for some time. And so I just stupidly picked this thing up. It's a fish that's decaying, it's falling apart. And so I'm like, what do? I'm in the water. I can't wash my hands in the water. I just touched it. So I'm like, I just got up and was like, I wish I had bleach to just put my. No, it was all right, but it's one of those. It's a skeevy. It has nothing to do with the paranormal. But has everything to do with being skeeved. It was just a bad experience. The moral of that, though, is don't touch everything you see underwater.
Right. Well, at 8 years old, when you see $1, you're like, oh, how many fishies can I get at the dollar store with $1?
Really cool little boy with a wide nose come at me. I just had the fish experience, and that's all that was.
The only water experience I ever had was why I don't like beaches is because when I was a kid, I swam right into a diaper.
I swam into a diaper.
You're talking about fish.
That was a shitty experience.
That's worse.
Move away from that white.
I remember just coming up from the water and hitting my head on the diaphragm.
So we've had some bad underwater experiences here. One very interesting.
I'm good with.
Yeah, it does. I mean, to this day, I can't. I can see his face. I can see the whole thing like it happened yesterday. Like it was just it's something that has stuck with me for my whole life. But
that's a fascinating story, though.
It was aware of you, though, wasn't it? Wasn't this?
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, for sure. He was. I thought he was. Like I said, he was coming right. And what was weird was he. And when I think about it, and when I think about it after the fact, like he wasn't swimming. He was like coming.
Wow.
Like just boom, like a rocket. Coming at me, and it scared the shit out. Like I said, I swallowed disgusting cedar water because I was like, and it scared me so much.
You definitely saw something.
Yeah.
Because when you're 8 years old, you're having an hallucination, or you're dreaming, or you're making it up. But I if you still remembered that vividly, of course you saw something there.
Oh yeah, it was totally. And I remember after that, which is why I probably don't go into the water a lot now. But after that, I wouldn't really go into the water that much. I really go up to in my feet and just to get a little cooled off. I was genuinely scared, because I was I didn't understand at 8 years old. You don't understand that stuff, right? So I didn't understand why he never came up, I never understood, I was and then I was just afraid to go back into that water. And I don't like how it was dark, so I couldn't see anything, and I was just so freaked out by it, and if it was to happen now, I don't think it was anything that was malevolent, or anything like that. I just think being 8 years old and seeing something like that scared you. Yeah.
Not expect.
Yeah. Which probably intrigued you into the paranormal, which, for some, that's the kind of flick of the switch that gets you involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Experience, yeah.
Could be paranormal, you know, it could, for some, it couldn't even be paranormal. It could just be something they think to be supernatural, and then eventually they find a natural cause to it. But it's still fascinating, well, you know, the things that lead us down certain avenues, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
These strange creatures, I mean, are they intrinsically, well, you didn't feel any malevolence coming from your thing that you saw. They're not.
I think it just, like, you know, if you were swimming underwater and all of a sudden you see something, you know what I mean? I mean, it's going to naturally scare you, you know? But like I said, like at the time, you know, now looking back, no, I think there was a reason that I think he wanted me to see him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's interesting. He wanted you to see him because he's swimming toward you.
I think he wanted me to see him because I wouldn't have gone underwater with my eyes open in Cedar Water, first of all, if I didn't see a dollar bill down there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And how I saw that, I don't know, because like I said, Cedar Water's red. I mean, the further down you go, you can't see your feet in Cedar Water. You know, so how did I see this dollar? But something pulled me to do this, like to go underwater with my eyes open and try to get the dollar, and then as soon as I put my hand out for the dollar, it was just like out of nowhere, you know, and it was just so.
It didn't stay around for long either.
No. I never, and there was no like movement except for like, you know, after I came up out of the water, you know, and, you know, the water settled, you know, like there was no swimming or movement or anything, you know, and he never came up. And that was the one thing, like I was waiting for him to come up because I was going to say, sorry, I didn't know that was yours. Right. You know, like I thought it was just, I had no idea.
That real seeming, that solid seeming.
But it was definitely something I'll never forget for sure.
Now, if that was in a Native American culture of yesteryear, they would have just called that a water spirit. Yeah, that would be the spirit of the lake.
Yeah,
and they would have this whole mythos spring up of, you know, well, they're a community there. They own the lake. They reside in the lake. We're trespassing. I think it would emerge as something like that to give an explanation.
That's how a lot of folklore is created. Yeah, for sure.
But story, you know, it's the big what you encounter in paranormal research. It's the big dunno, D-U-N-N-O. We're not going to know what that was. We can speculate. We can guess, but unless it appears again, you know, you happen to be there, we're just not going to know what that was. It's an enigma, something interesting.
Yeah.
Follow you for the rest of your life.
Huh?
And it's going to follow you for the rest of your life. That.
Oh yeah, for sure. I always think about it.
Yeah.
I think it's something with that lake too. I don't think you'd be in a swimming pool and see it, unless following you or something somehow.
Yeah. No, I definitely think it. I definitely think whatever it was there for a reason at the lake. You know, I don't know if it was, that's where it just is supposed to be, if that's where it was, if it was ever alive, if that's where he was when he was, you know, alive. And I don't know. I think, I mean, I've never seen it again. I've never saw anything like it. I've never got a feeling like that. So I think whatever it was, you know, I think I was at the right place at the right time, at the right moment. And it happened, and I was this little innocent little 8-year-old that, you know, ooh, $1, ooh, you know, and just it happened. And
I got a killer idea. Wow.
Capture a puck wedgie.
Nope. This summer, 2021, Cedar Water Paranormal Investigation. Beach party. Go investigate the paranormal.
You're gonna offer a prize. Like,
see water spirit.
It's gonna be $10,000 for whoever captures a picture of it.
With special guest duo Demonology. We will wear our bathing suits.
Yeah. Hey, listen, every show we've had has been surrounded by a holiday. You guys were supposed to dress up for Halloween. You were supposed to wear Christmas PJs. Don't tell me you're going to show up in your bathing suits and it doesn't happen.
We have no intention of showing up in our bathing suit.
No, that would be an awesome. Listen, that would be an awesome thing. I wish I knew people in high places, but like so that area, that Atzion. So you have the Atzion Lake, and then across the street is Atzion Cemetery, which
well.
one of the most active cemeteries. I don't believe that a lot of cemeteries are active. I feel like why would there be spirits there? You know,
there shouldn't be strange things happen in cemeteries.
But
examples, but go on, please.
But at Seance Cemetery, the only place that every time I go there, I get Class A EVPs, intelligent answers. Like, this. It's the area back there is just, and then you have Batstow. So Batstow's right there too. So you have Batstow Village, you have Batstow Cemetery, all very active. It's a highly active area. So that would be a very fun paranormal event to have. Who has a paranormal party at the lake?
That's not an idea. Bring your tents, bring campers.
It sounds like the making of a horror movie.
Oh my gosh, it's a sleepaway camp. Do you remember Sleepaway Camp?
What's that, dear?
Do you remember Sleepaway Camp?
No, I don't.
That is, come on.
That's from the movie.
What?
Sleepaway Camp.
Yes, Sleepaway Camp is a movie, an old movie, a horror movie that, I watched when I probably shouldn't have watched. And it was creepy. But we have people that already are in. Everybody's in for a paranormal lake party.
They'll come to it, yep.
Bonfires and
I'll bring the s'mores.
Chocolate. James will be like,
oh yeah, and I'll be looking good doing it too.
If there's a cemetery, as you say, in the periphery, you want Elise there because Elise Gianmarco Carlson
has to be there.
She has many talents. She's an excellent researcher. She is a cemetery conservator. She has restored headstones. She has found headstones that were buried in the earth, and prodded when nobody was going to look over there. She prodded, found a stone, dug it up.
There you go.
It turned out to be quite a significant find.
That's one of the lectures right there. Cemetery.
Oh my God! Could she talk about that?
Cemeteries, right?
Well, she does a lot more than clean headstones. She does background research. She's the go-to person for that.
So does she do the people that like in the cemeteries when you say background research, she's doing what's the people in the head that are buried there?
Oh yes.
Yeah, headstones, yeah.
If there are records, even obscure records, she'll go that extra distance and find out from somebody who's eventually she'll get to it. In fact, Elise is now researching a cold case murder.
That's awesome.
True story, and she's digging into it. It's the murder that occurred in Rhode Island, in Johnston, Rhode Island, in 1915. There was a judge, and he was murdered under very strange circumstances. Assassinated more because it was a very quick thing. He was shot, and she has uncovered so much interesting. Some of the sidelines in her research are as interesting as the case themselves. Like she was researching and all that, and he was had an airtight alibi, but even that was a story in itself. And Elise has a talent. I'll tell you that she'll go to a cemetery. I've seen it happen a couple of times. She's researching something. She doesn't even know that that's the cemetery she's looking for. She'll look down and she'll find the grave that she was looking for.
Wow.
By chance. It's an eerie thing when it happens. I think she has a sense for it. I think it's more than chance. I don't have that, so I envy her in that. I've seen her do that 3 times.
Well, I do think that people are drawn to certain things.
Yeah.
Certain talents. For sure.
Yeah, I'm drawn to Caspers. You know what I mean? Like I like the ghosts that are in the asylums and the haunted house, and the houses we go to, like the Stanley Hotel and the B&Bs and I love that. Whereas you guys are drawn to
the darker side.
The other side.
Well, that finds us more than us looking for it.
Which is weird because I tend to, anything that's like bad for you, I'm like all about it. So I'm like, so it's, I don't know why I'm, on the good side of this, because usually the bad is, it doesn't twist my arm. I'm like, okay.
Well, what's scary about the asylums and the B&Bs you go to, old houses? Spirits do things uniquely to those places. They appear in mirrors when you're looking at the mirror, just like out of a horror movie. You're looking in a mirror, you see and it's not behind you, or they peek around corners at you. That's particularly, I think, unsettling when something plays hide and go seek with you. It peeks at you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially multiple people experience it too.
Yeah, and sometimes you get some people are lucky enough to capture it on film.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I know. Not me. I have seen shadows and stuff like that, but I always brush it off to it's me, it's my vision, it's
Yeah, you're very grounded. You're a realist.
Yeah, like I don't I probably have seen but the shadow figures, but to me, I'm like, I might have moved my head.
You don't overanalyze it. You think, well, it's an old building, there are going to be shadows when I move around.
Yeah.
It may well be.
Yep.
Somebody else, a shadow ghost. A shadow ghost was there.
Yeah.
I needed to be empirical. I needed to be very obvious for me to accept it and be interested in it.
Yeah.
Like when I was employed at historic Slater Mill site in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, the seat of the American Industrial Revolution. And I was there for 14 years. So I had a chance to become acquainted with the resident spirits there. And they were unique to every one of the buildings. There were 3 buildings on the campus, on the grounds. And one building is a 5-story stone structure, the Wilkinson Mill, built in 1810. And it's funny, that had a shadow ghost in it. It didn't have other things like Caspers or a little boy ghost or anything. It had a resident shadow person there. And it behaved like you'd expect a shadow person too. It sometimes threw things. It darted around. It was fast. And it would appear in photographs more than it would you seeing it. Sometimes these shadow persons get captured on film. They didn't expect to, apparently. But they reveal what you don't see with your eye sometimes is imprinted on the picture. But he was seen. In fact, before I ever knew about it, the first time I knew there was a shadow person there, I had only been working there for it was under a year, and some guests on the grounds were afraid to go into that building and look at it. They said there's a shadowy man walking in there. So our staff went in, and there was nobody in there. Nobody could have gotten in or out at that time.
That's so cool. See, to me, that is so cool. Like, that's something that I think is awesome. Like, if I saw that, I would want to go in. Now, I would be a little scared. I mean, I think we all are a little scared.
Well, that's kind of the fun of it, isn't it? Yeah.
But, and then to go in and then not see anything, it just, to me,
that's almost considered actually seeing something yourself. If you hear people saying there's somebody in, and they're obviously nervous, they're concerned, and a couple of staff members go in, and there's nobody in there. That is odd. They've got an invisible person in there. Yeah.
That is
I did see the shadow person 3 times myself, but at first I was just hearing about it. Shadow person could be a Casper. Depends on who you find a Casper.
Yeah.
Well, for me, Casper is just a human spirit that was here, and they're here. Like, to me, it's like
friendly ghost,
not harmful. I don't have to worry about it. They could be maybe they're dicks because they were a dick in real life, so now they're a dick. Whatever. But I just think it's something that's looking to. Right. For me, an intelligent, haunting or an intelligent spirit, that's wants to communicate, and wants to be heard.
Joycelyn, my answer to that is we just don't know.
Yeah.
Shadow persons violate the rules of ghosts. They do things just the way we think we've got ghost hunting figured out. These things dart around. They don't move at the same pace we do. They're fast. They sometimes are seen wearing the outline of clothes, like a cloak and a hat. And I don't know if they have any agenda. They seem reclusive. They don't really want to mingle with us. And they move in the absence of light. We call them shadow because they're blackness. The absence of light. It's like a hole is cut in reality in the form of a person.
See, I disagree with this assessment. I
didn't even give an assessment. I said I don't know.
Yeah, what I'm saying though, like about how I think they are in some form like a shadow person, just the characteristics of the apparition that it appears. If it is some form of matter or energy that we don't understand yet, and this is of course theory. Of course, this is not true in fact as well. Just like Carl's guess.
Carl's guess.
is that shadow people, the form of it is because, like, if a demon appears in a shadow form figure, which it has in hauntings, it's been documented by people that have been a part of these cases, they appear in a shadow form because guess what? If you look at, of course, the literature of demons, they had never had physical bodies, they're non-corporeal entities. So, of course, it definitely, it's going to naturally appear as
something. Oh, you're saying they could be inhumans.
Yeah, it could be humans, but it also could be a Casper. It could be a ghost that maybe can't physically appear. Their manifestation can't be like Carl or I, or it won't be a shady, musky, see-through figure that we interpret usually that you see on television shows when they're doing reenactments. So sometimes it could be in the form of a shadow because that's all that they could appear as.
I could break protocol. I don't know how it would look. It's a laminated sheet. I have 2 pictures of a shadow ghost.
Yeah.
That were taken in that stone mill.
Yeah.
Let me just go get it. It's my car. I'll be back in 1 minute.
For real?
I do. I don't know how it's going to show up. Keep her talking.
Keep her talking.
But in the same token, we do have different opinions or guesses. Like we do, for him, shadow people could be a different thing altogether. I think there could be maybe a possibility that it is, but there's a lot of thought pattern to say that it's because if they don't have a certain amount, like people believe that it is due to EMF, right? We put EMF pumps out and we try to check the breakers. We try to see if EMF has anything to do with it. So if you really look at that opinion on most modern day ghost hunters, that's what most people's opinion about it, ghost hunting is. I don't necessarily agree with it, but if you take that thought pattern and if what happens if this haunting does occur there and there's not enough EMF for this thing to manifest, why is it going to manifest in full form if it doesn't have the energy to do so, the EMF to do so? So it's going to manifest in its ability. So that could be audibly, that could be either moving an item, that could be appearing as a shadow figure, or appearing as a full manifestation.
Right.
Many different forms of what can happen during haunting. I think that has something to do with either us feeding it in some sort, or the EMF. There has some sort of cause and effect to why we see things as they do, as they appear.
Well, I tell you, I saw a shadow. I only saw one shadow that I know that I don't want to say I know 100% that that's what it was, but there's no other explanation
right
for it. I was in Gettysburg and I had all my equipment. We were investigating. We were in the park and cameras around my neck. I just so happened to look over and I see this dark, shadowy thing going in and out, kind of looking, but then noticing that I saw them. So it was almost so at first my brain was like, how is there a bird flying inside that bush? Because it was a juniper bush, there's no way that a bird could fly inside this bush. But that's what my first thought process was. I was like, how's there a bird in there flying? And then as I looked, the bush wasn't moving, nothing was moving, but this shadow was moving in and out. It was looking at me and then, going in and out. And it only went on for about 3 seconds, but it was long enough to where it's first, the whole time I'm thinking, how's there a bird in there? And the second that it's over, I was like, the bushes weren't moving. Nothing was, that was not a bird, So then the impression was just that it was
Sorry, I was pulling out the picture he has right here. It's a fascinating picture. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Hopefully it appears up. Well, if not, Carl's going to have to try to give me a digital copy.
We'll try. That's coming out pretty clear. Now, this is the normal picture. This is the water wheel pit in the Wilkinson.
Wait, put it closer.
Let me see what I can do with you. I'm trying to avoid the light.
Where the green's at.
I know. That's what I'm trying to get it towards.
There you go.
This is if I can avoid the light.
No, go up a little. Yeah, there you go.
Now, those are just people that see there's a post holding up the ceiling. Okay. Those are tourists looking in the water wheel pit. This is a picture that was taken a moment afterwards. And look, if you
Oh,
can
wow.
see, it is blackened out. There's this part here, but I don't want to go over here. This section here is just black. Now, if that was somebody's shoulder, somebody in the way, you'd see some color. Somebody was wearing a shirt. It's just darkness there. Now you can see it.
Yeah.
It's just, and that just showed up in the same, see, before. That's the normal picture.
Yeah.
Avoiding reflection. And this blackness just is there.
Wow.
It looks like an arm reaching out, but it's indistinct.
And you took that?
I took those, yes. So
now, did you feel anything? Was there a reason you were taking?
Well, sometimes I'll feel like an eerie sensation of kind of being watched, but I didn't feel that then. I was just taking the picture.
Somebody just made a joke. Look, a shadow in the bush is worth two in the hand.
Yeah,
that's where I saw my shadow.
Shadow in the bush is worth two in the hand. Now, this was a newspaper article by the Sun Chronicle paper, and it's telling of the ghost hunts that I organized. Oh, I like that question. I'll answer that in a moment if I can. So the reporter came and they documented a ghost hunt that I organized there for Slater Mill. I don't know how good you can see this if it was in person, but I'll try. I have some other copies somewhere.
Oh, so it was in the newspaper.
Oh yeah, the shadow person made the paper, and they didn't even know. It doesn't say look at the shadow person. But I had this photograph for a while. There is let me get it here. There's a shadow in the back.
I see it. But in between, there's like
there's a gap there, and there's a shadow there.
Yeah.
Now, for some time, I thought that was the shadow of a woman, that one of the guests. The more I looked at that, scrutinized it, I realized that dark shadow is not hers at all, because hers is next to where that shadow is. And that shadow elongates to the wall. What you see is a tall figure reaching out its arm. It looks like it's wearing a cloak and maybe a hat.
Yeah.
You see.
So you're saying it's next to that woman, if I'm seeing it correctly, next to the woman, she's wearing like a white sweatshirt and she's like kind of like leaning over the railing.
That would be her, yes, right there.
Yeah.
This is the shadow.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
And believe me, I took a magnifying glass and I really looked at that. I looked at that shadow from every angle. I went back into the water wheel pit to see if there's a stain on the wall or if that effect could be replicated. No, we got something strange there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The shadow ghost was probably there right with us during the ghost hunt, because we're talking about the haunting. The shadow ghost is with us and yet isn't seen. Oh, it has been seen right in that place. Yeah, we got you back. Yeah. So yeah, you actually could see that pretty good.
Yeah, you can. I can see it.
See? That's the shadow ghost there. And it looks like a figure in a cloak, and that's how they show up sometimes. So weird, strange things. That's a shadow ghost. Now, somebody asked, is that Joycelyn again? Make it a Casper or a demon? Either or. They don't seem to bother people. It's not like there's sickness after they have appeared. I know they don't like to be seen. If you say, look at the shadow ghost, they go.
Well, she's asking what would make you decide if a shadow person is a Casper or a demon? Like, what signs do you look for?
If there was something bad that happened after it appeared, like people got sick or had some severe.
Yeah, I would think
like a succession of misfortunes.
Yeah.
I would say something like that. Something you could notice. Or if you smell a strange odor, like if it was sulfury there and you could not explain, it's a water wheel pit, but if there was some scent, some odor you couldn't decipher and couldn't understand, if things went, well, I was just going to say if things went flying around, but this shadow ghost twice threw things. Actually, three times. One time it tossed a pair of antique crutches, and another time twice it threw a spike off the blacksmith's bench and went flying across the room. And both times I had tried an experiment with some mild provocation. I mean, I've had people in there, like they've yelled and they swear at the shadow ghost. That's not going to do anything. It negates results. But a couple of times when we went upstairs to above the water wheel pit is the machine shop exhibit. And that's, again, 1810. A couple of times leading these ghost hunts, I said, now, we have brought women and younger folk into your mill. I realize that's a violation of mill protocol. You wouldn't have had that back in the day. So if you want us to leave, just give us a sign and we'll clear out. You know, we'll leave anyway. We'll just leave a little sooner if you give us a sign. Now, that didn't happen every time, but 2 times when I said that, a heavy spike flew off of the bench, sailed across the room. And I kept to it. I kept to my word. I said, you gave us a sign. We're out of here.
Yeah, but see, I wouldn't even think that was anything negative. I would just think that
it did negative. Yeah, and that relates to
I would just think it was just wanted attention, you know?
People were being roughly shoved and pushed or just felt sickish, like, oh, I can't stay in here. I can't stay in here. You know, maybe that would be demonic. So you kind of sense it without. It's hard to define, but
and maybe I'm ignorant to that because, like, I've been in Gettysburg and I've smelled sulfur. But to me, I think the sulfur smell has to do with like the gunpowder and you know what I mean.
That's a component of gunpowder.
Yeah.
Bing, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Well, that's got so many memories. I think the shadow person was at least quasi-aware of us.
Mm-hmm.
Knew people were there. Why else would it respond when I did that? Why else when actually a man and a woman entered that room, and as soon as they did, antique crutches flew off of the wall, you know, where they were resting against the wall. So, yeah, you got some strange phenomena. Shadow ghost will always be puzzling to me. Mike Ricksecker authored A Walk in the Shadows. He does a whole book-long expose on shadow person. I was interviewed for that, and he has those pictures in his book.
Mm-hmm.
We know that they're in a different time frame, dimensional, because they move at a different rate, as do we. We know they're not fully solid. I don't know if they block out light, if they have an opacity to them, or if they just absorb the light, and that's why we see the outlines. You know, so
I mean, think about, you know, maybe they are shadows because, you know, they want to observe us more than we want to observe them, so they think they're kind of camouflaged, so they could watch us. I think I think that shadow figures probably don't have the energy to become fully
right. Maybe they can't help. Maybe they just appear that way. And it's like in the movie taken from the old movie serial, The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin.
No, I didn't see it.
He would appear as a shadow. He had that power. He could concentrate and block men's vision. They said, except for the one thing he could never hide, his shadow.
Yeah, no, I never saw that.
He's a crime fighter, you know, the shadow. No, that goes back to the old movie serials in the 1940s. But, yeah, it was a charming film.
Speaking of movies.
Yes, movies, what?
Did we do our homework?
Yeah, we watched Six Souls.
You did?
Yes, we did.
All right, so what did you think of it? Be honest.
It was very interesting.
What did you think of it?
Well, I thought it was a little confusing, that's all. But I mean,
you thought it was confusing?
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I don't know what to...
Well, yeah, you give more. You remember more about it than I did. We did watch it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did watch it. It was just, I don't know.
If you didn't like it, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I think it's an awesome movie.
It was scary. It was scary, but like Carl said, like I was kind of confused. I don't know. I kind of like, what was it in the forest scene? The forest scene, like at the end, he died.
When he saw the guy?
Yeah. It was so weird.
But did he die? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That kind of suspense. You know, it didn't really answer the questions. But then again, that's the purpose of the film. It was a mystery.
It was a suspense, yeah, kind of. I don't know. Like, I remember details of it, but it wasn't like I don't remember start to finish of it.
Yeah, to me, I liked it. It was because it was different. It's not. It was. I think it when it came out, it was like, you know, there was all the same shit over and over again. You know what I mean? So this was something different where there was to me, I love missed my calling. I should have been like either, forensic something or detective or psychologist, you know what I mean? So when the two things mix together, when so you have this woman who is thinking that she can cure somebody that has a mental disorder, and she's just like diving in there, not knowing what the hell she's getting into because she thinks he's got a psych issue. And she thinks that she has the cure, where here, it was way more than psych. There definitely was some,
Yeah, they thought it was dissociative identity disorder.
Yes, I'm remembering more of it now.
Yeah, because he had this, aka the 6 souls. There was 6.
Well, each
of them had different.
That's what they were trying. That's what they were driving at with the movie. That you would, you wonder, oh, this guy's psycho, and she's just, like analyzing him. Then you find out, wait a minute, there's something to it. His reality is real.
Mm.
Yeah, 6 souls. Yeah. So every time they would call him, and he would sound different.
Yeah.
Wheelchair bound, and then he could stand.
We seemed a little hesitant there. We're like, oh well, we but we're trying to remember what was cogent in that film.
See, like if you're talking about those kind of movies, see, like one of my favorites is Hereditary.
Is what?
Is Hereditary.
I didn't see it.
You're telling me about watch Hereditary, and you'll realize why that's a better movie.
Hey, there's better movies out there.
Hereditary is like a cult hit. Like, so you got to watch it. Hereditary. It's gonna make you shit your pants.
Well, I don't. Now, is it like Wrong Turn? Like, is have Wrong Turn people in it where they're like psycho and they do weird things to like people?
No, Hereditary is like it's the same thing. It's like it's like a preternatural, supernatural, like you get like crazy, but other things are occurring that bump in the night.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say there weren't better movies out there. I just think that 6 Souls came out and when I saw it, it was like, it was around the time where it was just like the same old, it was like, what did you do last summer? 16, or I know last summer, like Final Destination 25.
They don't leave that in interpretation. He does die in the end, but they made more of a definite statement than some of them. Some scripts will leave the viewer wondering, what was real in that? The guy, was he really demonic? Was he really super?
Right.
This one said outright that, like the psychiatrist was mistaken. He is, he does have spirits.
And she blindly went in there, you know what I mean? And blindly like just threw herself out there, and it was just, it came out, it was like one of those movies that I like different movies, like the others.
That was something because, nobody spoiled that for me. I didn't see it coming. Me
either.
Like, I don't want to overanalyze. I do try to pick out the bad guy if it's a murder story, but forensic files. But then going back to Elise is very good at that. She's fun to watch something with. But that did get me, the others. I didn't know that, who was the ghost and who wasn't. And,
But I never even thought.
Well, they flew you in. If you haven't discussed it and you haven't seen it before, talk to somebody who's seen it, then you will be surprised by that.
Yeah, we can't say. But I agree with Ron. This is the scariest movie I have ever seen in my life to date. I don't care that the entity, I watch it. I have to watch it with the lights on. It scares the shit out of me, that movie. That's my number one scariest movie.
It is a good movie.
I have to rewatch
You gotta watch Hereditary, though.
I will. Since you finally watched 6 Souls, I will watch that.
We did watch it.
I'll tell you. Hey, Taryn, before another one. Well, no. This is. I want to see this. This gray smoke. This black gray smoke that pinned me to the bed, whirled above me like a tornado, then went in me, through my mouth, and changed my voice. When I said "get out," it was in what you would think of a demonic voice, and it came out of me. That's by Alida Roman. Well, let's see.
That was heavy.
That sounds like a temporary possession. Yeah, it does. There's channeling and there's possession. Supposedly, when it's channeling, the medium knows she or he is doing it.
And supposedly in control.
Yeah. Transient possession is when something takes over you, and
Comes and goes.
It does sound real. It smacks of a real experience where, the cyclonic wind or smoke, gray smoke overhead going into her, and then the voice speaks. It sounds like it could only be in her and manifest that way for like some seconds, maybe a minute, and the voice came out. She didn't indicate that it left any lasting impression or did any damage.
No, yeah.
Not, but that was a strong presence. Probably could not fully possess a person unless they were really susceptible, but could do that. And then you get that gray smoke. Does that relate to the shadow person?
Here's another one. Yeah. My sister touched some kind of figurine in Jamaica and was said to be cursed. Then periodically wake up to banging drums in the shadow of a man playing them on her ceiling. Wow.
Maybe she got a witch doctor.
Yeah.
Which is possible. A magic man. Somebody, a voodoo priest, something like that. Yeah, I believe these things. It's rare when somebody is actually taken over by a spirit, but I think they can do it temporarily. Big rush of energy. Oh, I never saw this movie. Greg Notham. Old obscure movie called The Asphyx. Now, how you Asphyx?
Asphyx, it looks like.
Old obscure movie called The Asphyx. Scientists figures out a way to trap the soul as it leaves the body at death. Spooky concept, yes.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Be worth watching. Something like that, yeah. At the moment of death, it's looking for. I think the premise is the moment of death, the spirit is looking for a new receptacle. New body doesn't want to be cast out, looking for something. And that could lead to some kind of possession.
Well, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but I mean, I know I've seen articles of, scientists saying that when somebody dies, like there's a percentage of weight that is lost.
They say there's actually it can be measured in ounces. There's several ounces that the body loses. This experiment has been repeated, and apparently it's true that the body loses some weight at the moment of death. One would tend to think that's the astral
coming out.
Yeah, the astral body leaves. Well, it depends on how you mean it. Yeah, the astral body coming out of a living body.
You defecate. Of course, you're gonna lose a few ounces.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody forgets that. Everybody forgets you excrement before you die.
No, I think we're all talking about it. I don't think anybody's forgotten that. No, but I know that does happen. They say, it varies.
Well, they also say with the pineal gland, when you die, you send off electric signal and stuff like that. So
this reminds me of something I forgot to tell Elise. I just thought of it. I made a mental note, didn't write it down. I don't know if Elise is getting late. I don't know if Elise is listening now, but I'll try to tell her when I see her. We were talking about hangings. We're just discussing about hangings, and I started to tell her what I know about, the execution hangings. And I think the last hanging took place. There were a few of them in the United States as a means of execution in the 1970s. But things can go wrong when somebody is hanged by the neck until dead. Sometimes the head pops off.
Oh, stop.
That's true. Well, I was going to tell Elise that,
Wait, like really? Like it comes off?
Yes.
Or you're saying like the neck?
Well, it's a tricky thing because you're not the execution, the executed prisoner is not guaranteed an immediate death. You can't.
No.
Unless you blow.
If you lived back then, would you be one of the people that would watch it? You know how they used to bring all the townspeople around and like watch it?
I'm afraid so, yes.
Really?
I wouldn't like it. I would feel bad. I might not go to it, but if it has to happen, I would probably want. There's a morbid curiosity endemic to people, and well, I mean that's very uncommon, but it's no guarantee the neck will break at that impact at that moment. The the person could strangulate, to death. But sometimes the head just comes right off.
Wow.
That happened with there was a notorious murderer and robber in the 1880s in the Old West in America, and he was Black Bart. I don't remember his Christian name, but his last words were famous last words. At the moment before the door, the trap door was let go and he was hanged, he was asked, "Hey, do you have any last words?" And his last words were, "Let her rip." And the trap door opened up and his head popped off.
Oh my God.
Same with Saddam Hussein, who was executed some years ago. Saddam Hussein was, his head came off.
Stop.
It did. I didn't do it, but I know these things happen. That does happen sometimes. So it's tricky. You're not guaranteed a clean death. Cutting off the head seems to always work. And nobody comes back from that. It can be debated, is there consciousness after the head is severed for several seconds?
James needs more chocolate.
He's quieted.
Carl's talking.
I'm giving a very interesting lecture here.
He's been talking, so.
Yeah. I think if somebody's decapitated, the head will, not every time, but the head has the potential to retain at least a rudimentary consciousness for just a few seconds.
So Aleda answered. She said, "Ever since that smoke, I've had seizures, but it wasn't seizures, just looks like them, and hallucinations. Would that be an example of a change that you mentioned?"
Yes, it could be. We don't know how much is physiological, brain chemistry, physiology, and how much is paranormal, spiritual experience. That could be. If somebody's changed, they notice that there's that residue, like the brain and the nervous system is so traumatized by that interchange with the spirit that I think it kind of replicates itself. They feel it again, even though it's not happening.
But wouldn't something like that, if something so significant, and I'm not saying she's not telling the truth, but
yeah, well, we don't know exactly what happened with her. We can only go through what she experienced.
Yeah, I mean, if she was still being affected by it in some way or another, wouldn't there be more of those tornado type things?
Not the spirit is not still entering her. She being mindful that she might be experiencing the residue, the effect of it, without the spirit actually coming in. It traumatized her to a degree. Again, speculating. And maybe she's feeling that shock again. Maybe that opened up a conduit in her mind. I'm not saying she's necessarily more susceptible, just that impacted her so strongly that she still feels it sometimes.
Well, but how do you explain when somebody is, I'm going to bring up Emily Rose.
Yes.
Okay. What was she, 13?
A little older than that. She's supposed to be 17, but it depends on if you're talking about the real life, based upon which that was predicated,
Yeah, right. That's the one, right? The Exorcism of Emily. She was, that was the one that was, they have like recordings and everything.
Yes, they do. That was a documented exorcism,
But also like her, like they have recordings of her talking and like with the, but she, just one night just started. She wasn't provoking anything. She wasn't even, right. She was very ignorantly, blissfully, like had no idea of any paranormal anything or the world or, it just, how does that happen to somebody?
The true case, I believe that has something to do with the bed. But
okay.
To do with her childhood too. And health issues.
Yeah, I don't think she was a totally stable, normal, blissful student.
Okay.
And overnight, this took over. It had that appearance, but I think she was exposed to it. I think to be effectively possessed, the subject needs to have a belief that it can happen, even if that's subconscious and subliminal. They have to believe that can happen. But hers was very extreme. That thing didn't leave. Unlike Aleda, her demon didn't leave her.
Right.
Under some circumstances, possibly she could have been saved, could have been remedied, but she did not have those favorable experiences, the resources available to her.
Yeah, then they didn't.
Yeah.
There's actually, this is a true story, and I didn't sign an NDA, so hell, I'm gonna talk about it. So, the Hostage to the Devil Netflix documentary. They're actually, Marty, the director, was actually making Hostage to the Devil Part 2, and I did some consultation work for it. And I guess probably, I don't know if it's coming out. I don't know if it was ever successful. But basically, the Part 2 was of the specifics because Anneliese Michel, after that, exorcisms were banned in Germany, and then they were kind of allowed back a few years ago, and then another death had occurred in Germany. So now they're recently banned again. So what happened is there is a woman out there in Germany who actually was family friends with the Michel's, and this woman actually had slept on Anneliese Michel's bed, and then she started being haunted and touched. And there's I've seen videos of this woman. I have people documenting this case out in Germany, where she goes in a trance. She goes in to a lucid nightmares, and her body transfixed. And
you're talking about the movie, or you're talking about the real life case that happened? Yeah,
not Anneliese Michel. I'm talking about the person. I'm talking about the person that slept in Anneliese Michel's bed.
Yeah, that
is still trying to receive help to this day, because they're trying to get her out. But the problem is why this woman hasn't received help outside of Germany is they're trying to film the exorcism, and no Catholic priest that is an exorcist will allow a true solemn rite of exorcism to be filmed on camera, because it is total abomination for them. I think I truly agree to that as well. It's a one-on-one moment, kind of. It's even more than a one-on-one, but they're trying to get her out of Germany. She's basically poor. She's not poor, but very low income, so she can't leave Germany out of her own will. And the production company is only willing to be able to do so much. If they could find someone to do it, then that's, of course, they'll get her out of Germany to do it. But they have to, of course, film it, kind of thing, which is kind of fucked up. Sorry, excuse my French.
That's about your fourth time in this interview, so.
That's fine. Who cares? Swearing.
We're on the Brew. We did Brew.
Okay. Yeah, I don't care anymore. But so the thing is that's repercussion. This woman slept in the bed. Was that psychosomatic? Did she knew the situation? They were family friends. There's so much document. This lady's seen a psychiatrist. The new person seen a psychiatrist. There's so much documentation involved with it. But it's crazy. She slept in Anneliese Michel's bed and started having all these issues.
See, I wouldn't do it. I'm superstitious, first of all. So if somebody was like, oh yeah, this happened here, go ahead and lay in the bed or whatever. I'd be like, nope, I'm good.
And if
what I mean? I wouldn't do it.
And if that movie does come out, I'm sorry I ruined it for you guys.
I think that would be awesome.
You may have intrigued us more.
No, it was actually fascinating. I got to actually see some of the Dropbox stuff. They had case files, reports. This woman kept the journal, and they were all uploaded. It was crazy. It was some hardcore stuff, and just the thing, that's international case. I've never done something that severe, but nobody would touch it, because even when I was when I was with Bishop Long, I said, Bishop Long, you want to try? And Bishop Long was I'm not going to do an exorcism on camera, which I never asked him to, but we could at least check it out and try to assist this woman, and then done something off the camera. But they were adamant that they wanted exorcism on camera. They weren't willing to do a dramatization. They wanted an exorcism done on camera.
Why?
Don't
you think that's?
Because nobody else has done it really. Follow Andrew Calder. I believe did an exorcism on Paranormal State, but they only showed bits and pieces of the ritual.
I remember there was one. I'm going back probably 20 years. There was one on PBS.
Oh yeah, I think that was with the Warrens, was it not?
Which one was that? The
They
documentary?
did on PBS. Yeah, remember?
Yes, you're right.
Was it with the Warrens? Yeah,
the Warrens. Yeah. Well, the Warrens were very.
It was with Bishop McKenna. It was with Bishop McKenna, actually. I do believe
that was their.
Yeah, and they showed it on TV.
Or Following Malachi. It was either one of those two.
I don't remember much about it.
Warrens, actually, they could be known to be rather exploitative. You know.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I mean, like, why? I mean, I get like, oh, nobody's ever done it. You know, nobody's ever had it on camera. But I mean, I don't know why you'd want to.
Well, it's kind of like I always ask people, like,
I know what you would say.
Yeah, I always ask people, like, when they talk about why some people would film. I know a lot of people that do film it in their personal standpoint or do audio, but in the same point, it's like, do you ever see your therapy sessions filmed? Then sometimes they're recorded or written, but those are private moments. Those moments of weakness, moments that shouldn't be relived for many of those people. And I think sometimes when you experience that and you watch it, it's horrifying. It brings dramatic echoes to the past to that.
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason. But I think a lot of priests won't do it is because it's also dangerous. And they understand that you're dealing with somebody's psyche. And that's the biggest thing about an exorcism. There is that spiritual battle, many people say, but you're also dealing with the human psyche. Certain things can be done. Most exorcists like Bishop Long and whichever will talk about the medical aspects. Like you don't know when it's going to be something that's supernatural or the body reacting, maybe them going into a seizure or a stroke. So these are things that have to be monitored as well. Their BPMs, just to make sure their heart is beating correctly. There's so much details that have to be done with an exorcist.
It should be medically evaluated and assessed too. Of
course, you should have a medical team involved at a point too. You should have somebody there. There's just so much involved with it, and sometimes it's not as theatrical as people or dynamic as people think it is. Sometimes, so like.
Well, it can be subtle. It can be prolonged, a prolonged process. Yeah. Now, what the Warrens demonstrated was somebody going under full possession, which he was prone to do. He had lifelong adult problems, like psychologically. But he does go under a fit of possession, and it's a very disturbing but educational film to watch. They would say they were documenting it for people's benefit to learn about these things for educational purposes. But it was really, I thought, exploitative of the person.
I can't even listen. I can't even listen to the Emily Rose things. I can't.
Oh, they're disturbing. They're tough.
Yeah, a lot of those are fake, though. Just gotta be careful which one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some of them are fake. Yeah,
they will put that out there, but some you can tell the genuine one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that is unsettling to listen to. I cringe.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I can't listen to it. It freaks me out.
What the Warrens? Who is that?
Can you see this at all?
Yeah, we've shown this before. But
I know we have. We probably.
This is actually in paper form.
That's a paper. Yeah, that's
Miss Warren right there.
The colorful lady, the elegant lady in the middle of the photograph, that is Lorraine Warren.
Yes.
And Carolyn Perrin, it was a Polaroid film, so she's kind of, her features are washed out. There's Carolyn Perrin guiding us through the basement of the Conjuring house, the house on Round Top in Harrisville, Rhode Island, made famous by the movie The Conjuring. And there's let's see, where is he? A youngin' over here. See that guy in the blue shirt?
That's Keith, and the woman next to him is Carl before his sex change.
Yeah, don't listen to that. We finished. You should see the candy wrappers here. That's why he's like that. So, that is me when I was 18 years old, and Donna Eisenstadt, who was the case manager there.
Yeah.
That's us in the Conjuring house. I just happen to have this with my pictures, so I thought I'd show you. I mean, there were better copies of it, but this is just one to pick up and display. And of course, Mrs. Warren, and Ed Warren was off camera. He was there someplace. Thank you.
So, actually, are you blue or blue?
I was the red one. Yes. What you doing? Got another shadow person. This was taken in the historic Sprague Mansion in Cranston, Rhode Island. Now, Lisa DeWallaby, one of my brother's team members, took the picture, took the photograph because she thought she saw something move in this side room. And obviously it was daylight. You see the daylight streaming in. But the shadow person that she saw didn't come out until you look in the mirror. And there's something there. It's a form. It looks like somebody wearing a shawl. You know, an eerie figure. It came out in the mirror's reflection, but didn't come out in the rest of the picture. See, it was captured in the reflection. Its reflection was captured in the mirror. You can see that.
Yeah.
I have every reason to believe that's genuine. It doesn't look like it was faked. It would have been difficult to fake that. I trusted the veracity of everybody who was there. And, you know, you can actually, it's a translucent figure. And it wasn't anything hanging up on the wall because, you know, you'd be able to see that. So that's another example of a shadow ghost on film. They are captured in pictures incidentally. I don't think they like to be photographed.
No, I don't think that they want to be seen. I think that they just want to watch us.
I correct that. I don't think they're aware of being photographed. I think they don't want to be seen. And it's incidental that they sometimes show up in pictures. So we have some examples there.
There was something else I was going to say when we were talking about like Emily Rose and stuff. I don't know. I forget. Somebody asked, have you ever been to the Lizzie Borden house?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Several times.
Yes.
Now, I've always heard that when people go there, they don't pick up on anything or they haven't, if they do get anything, it's not the family that lived there.
I would agree with that assessment. I think I think you might have some bleed through of the past, but I think a lot of it could be the Fall River area, which is not nice. And then, of course, I think a lot of people bring their own baggage to that location.
Mm-hmm. I think as a residue, I think there's something imprinted into the walls and the substance of the house, the ether, and to put it in 19th century terms, the supposed substance that pervades everything. There's something cast there. Yeah, there are memories. Some people say it's the father, Andrew Borden, who answers questions, can be recorded, but male voice sometimes answers questions there. There is something. I just don't know its source. House has a long and strange history. It does.
I want to go to.
Where do you want to go most in the world? Well, haunted places.
I don't even know if it's haunted.
Well, it doesn't have to be interesting.
I want to go to the Winchester house.
Oh, it is haunted actually, but yes,
that should be if it isn't. But I believe
I've never been there either. But yeah, that'd be a cool place. Just get lost in there. It's a maze. So.
Oh my gosh, I would love it. No, I love this. I love watching shows and the way her mind worked. You know, it's like
keep adding on. The spirits told her, she to atone for the many deaths caused by the Winchester rifle. That she must keep adding on and making homes for the spirits in her house.
And she did it in style too, because she had like Tiffany stuff all over, and you know what I mean. Like Amityville. Oh, somebody's asking, do you think the Amityville house is legit?
For those people maybe, but I think Carl wants the. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. My dad lives 15 minutes from that house. Every time I see him, I go see that house. An old lady lived there with her husband. Her husband died. She sold the house. Never really had experiences there. But in that same token, that family that was the Defoes that died there.
Yes.
People did die.
The Defoes.
The Defoes.
Yep.
Did die there. So something very horrific did happen there. But if you understand, I think it was a documentary called Uncovering Amityville or something like that. I forgot what it was. It just came on not too long ago. But it basically said that a lot of it was because of a lawyer saying that this was this. Actually, it was the lawyer that came out with it, saying do this and do this specifically, and there was money involved that you become famous.
Well, yeah,
it was so much involved in it. So I think there could be moments of the horrifying experience that are
replayed and relived. You know, when somebody observes them, somebody's impressionable or sensitive to that.
Yeah.
Ronald DeFeo is still alive and in prison for life.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Well, that would do it. Yeah. I think it was contrived. I think it was made up. You know, I wasn't there for it, but somebody who was in on that planning session said it was, you know, concocted over so many bottles of wine, and you know, they needed a financial way out of their investment, and
so I actually had a very long conversation with
Chris too. I know Chris very well. So
yeah.
I met Ron. I met you know, the father there. What's his name? What did they?
George?
Yeah, George Lutz. I met George. So,
There's a stepfather.
Yeah.
Yes, I did talk with George Lutz.
Because Christopher, what's it, Christopher Quarantino now he calls himself or something like that instead of Christopher Lutz? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I had a long conversation with him, and he said that, you know, the movies make his stepfather, you know, look like, you know, this hero, he saved his family and this and that. And he said, you know, when they moved in, you know, who knows, were there lingering stuff from the tragedy that happened? There could have been, but they leave out the part. And now he said this, like, so I don't know how true this is, but this is what he told me, you know, that, you know, his stepfather's in the basement, you know, and conjuring up and then doing, you know, satanic worship stuff in the basement and trying to, like, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what he said.
That sounds like a good story.
Yeah, that's what he said. And he said that he was waiting to come out with it until after his mother passed because he didn't want, you know, anything, you know, to backlash her. And I guess then George was then suing him for coming out and, you know, saying all kinds of stuff about him. And, you know, but of course this was, I don't remember, this might've been like 2013 when I talked to Christopher, you know, so it was a long time ago. And, you know, Chris told me the same thing. There's other people saying that they've talked to him and said the same thing.
He's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy, but there's just there's too much out of it, especially with the lawyer. There's just too many details to say.
I have to be dubious about it. I've heard too much negative press about it. It happened too quickly. There are ramifications would make it sensible that they had reason.
And no families afterwards that lived in that house for long periods of time.
Never had anything, right?
So, if you relate to this situation, Carl says about the Conjuring family, all three families that lived in there that have been noticeable in pop culture have experienced things. Even if Norma Sutcliffe doesn't want to say she wanted to experience it, she was on Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters. Sorry, she was on Ghost Hunters, and she's been on radio talking about.
He's talking about the owner after the Perrin family who were featured in the movie.
But even the Conjuring house, a very known house, all people that have lived in that house in modern time that we've documented in the Perrins, you know, the Sutcliffes.
Yeah.
And of course, now the Heinzens, they've all experienced something. Why did nobody experience anything in the Amityville horror house for that long of time either? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and word of mouth, you know, it's hard to refute because, you know, you're just going on people's testimony.
Yeah, definitely.
Not photographic or recording evidence. The Warrens jumped all over that, of course, the Amityville horror. That was their case, and of course, if the Warrens were involved, then it was haunted.
That's what made them famous.
Well, yeah,
it's definitely what
they
made
were
them
entrepreneurial,
famous.
and you know it had to be haunted. Like when they assessed the Perrin family, immediately, you know, it was diagnosed.
It was
the Perrin family. The Perrin family, according to the Warrens, was being, you know, tormented by the demon witch Bathsheba Sherman. And theirs was not at all an investigation. We had laid the groundwork. Our team from Rhode Island College that went there originally in 1973, we laid the groundwork. We conducted the original paranormal investigation. I consulted Ed and Lorraine Warren about this case. I thought what a nice professional touch it would be to consult the Warrens and benefit from their vast experience. But they volunteered to come there, and they totally took over. That's it in a nutshell. And once the Warrens arrived on the scene, it was no longer an investigation. It was an intervention or an intercession on behalf of the family. But nothing scientific about it. But an interesting situation, to be sure.
I don't know about this house. Maybe you guys do.
Oh, Greenwichville, the House of Death? I don't either. Do you know that?
No, actually, I've never heard of the House of Death.
Oh, what's that? I'm trying to think of the serial killer. He was
Holmes? Yeah.
Was it Holmes? H.H. Holmes?
H.H. Holmes?
H.H. Holmes? I believe that's the one they're referring to. He did some time there.
Oh yeah, because he. Oh yeah, definitely.
It is coming back to me, and it's one of those places that if it is not haunted, it should be. It's haunted by death. It's haunted by memory, by horrific history. They don't need to have chairs moving around or have people get ill feelings when they walk in to know that is a haunted household, haunted house. It is haunted by memory. It is haunted by tragedy. It almost transcends the bounds of what you think a human being is capable of doing.
You said, that's it. The H.H. Holmes one, yeah.
That's the one, H.H. Holmes. Yeah.
I thought so, but I actually, for some reason, I never thought that was in New York, but that would make sense because that's where Jeff Mudgett's is originally from, I do believe, is New York, right? So
my process is it can take me about 3 to 5 seconds to remember something. I'm trying to get that memory cell out there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Then it all comes like a panorama. It comes out.
Like panorama.
Like panorama paranormal. Yeah.
At least you are cousin and Carl Johnson.
Thank you for that unshamed plug. Yes.
You're welcome.
Well, it's like remembering George Lutz. For a moment, I couldn't remember George Lutz's name. Then I thought of his wife's name, Kathy, George and Kathy Lutz. And I had what was an enjoyable and informative conversation with George Lutz. He seemed totally sincere. What can I say? I spoke to the man for 20, 25 minutes. That was my experience. I enjoyed speaking with him.
I don't doubt.
But I don't know if there was any reality to the haunting.
I don't doubt any possibility that it was because it was right after, basically, that they could have maybe experienced. See, I can't doubt there was a possibility that they maybe observed, experienced something. But, of course, unfortunately, where I've seen in my involvement with this field is somebody has experienced it, and then they twist and turn it into this whole story that sounds so fascinating.
Story, yes.
Yeah, it learns.
But I mean, like the weird thing about it, the whole thing, right, is, I don't know like the background. I never talked to George Lutz about it, and I'm not saying that it was whatever was there was evil, but you have the picture that the Warrens got.
Oh, the boy.
Yeah.
Oh, the boy with the glowing eyes. Yes, they're there. Yeah.
Right. Whether it's a real picture or not, but there's that picture. That's creepy. And then they left everything. They just like up and left everything.
That's a big caveat. That gives it its credibility as a haunting.
I mean, I don't care. I could probably see Satan himself, but I'm leaving with something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to run out and
unless they had a motivation.
Yeah, it doesn't sound. It sounds so more theatrical that I've never met a family. I've never heard, even in demonic cases where a family leaves all that stuff, they always pack up and leave. It's so like, it sounds like a great angle. We're leaving our stuff. Let's go. Let's go.
George has left the room. Let's talk, Taryn. Get to the bottom of certain things we brought up here. I assume he's going to be back. I saw something peeking around the corner.
Is it a shadow figure?
It's shadowy. Yeah. He's gonna make an entrance now. You'll see. He's gonna be the shadow person. See, he's here, but we don't see him.
I can't.
This is 15 years of experience as a demonologist has brought him to this moment here. You actually look like you were Israeli or something.
Israel.
It must be a holy day.
It was like holy. Oh my
You
God.
get a prayer shawl. You know.
It's not Ramadan yet.
But it's coming.
I don't get into all of it. I don't, I'm not going to go somewhere where, I'm not going to lay on a bed where somebody was whatever, I'm like, I'm cool.
Oh, crazy story, huh?
Yeah, no, not me. Nope.
I will say when I went to the Lizzie Borden house one of the times, just to experience it, I knelt down in the spot where Abby Borden was killed. Before the father was, the mother was, and I knelt down in that same position and laid where the forensic photograph of her in death, right after she was murdered. I just to absorb that experience. I wouldn't say I felt anything preternatural. It was just a very darn eerie feeling to do that.
It does.
I might not do that, if I was there again, but I just wanted to have that experience to see if I could feel anything of what transpired there. It just felt creepy, because of what happened.
I'm kidding. I did but it was never anything negative. But I did lay down, and I can't remember if it was who it was. But in the Farnsworth house in Gettysburg, somebody was taken into the basement and laid on. There's a cot or a bed in the basement that's still there. I did lay on that, and I think the psyche is what took over because I was like,
yeah,
I'm like, I don't like this. Like this isn't, I wouldn't lay in a coffin. I wouldn't lay, anywhere where anybody.
Yeah. I've laid on trays in morgues and asylums. I'm freaking crazy. I love it.
You slept with a haunted doll.
I slept with the haunted doll. Yeah, at a haunted location.
I'm not sure I would do that. I don't know if
I definitely would not do that.
I don't think I would. I think it would be planting a suggestion or something.
I know.
You slept with a haunted doll.
I slept right through. I wasn't touched. I wasn't molested. I was.
You didn't levitate or anything.
I didn't levitate into Carl's bedroom like what's her name in Ghostbusters? She's levitating above.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver's looking under. What the heck?
Sigourney Weaver was hot when she was possessed. She looked nice.
I had a red dress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Wow. Yeah.
Let me see. Do you ever worry that an entity might attach itself if you visit a haunted location?
I think that fear.
I don't know if I'd say worry. I'm cognizant of it, concerned. I know it's a possibility.
I don't. I feel like they're there for a reason. Whether they're attached to the land, whether they're attached to the house, whether they're a person there or something. I feel like they're there where they're at for a reason.
I wouldn't worry about myself. I wouldn't worry about being oppressed or possessed. When these hauntings travel with someone and as an attachment, they're not as strong and they dissipate quickly. They don't last. I wouldn't be worried about being able to take over me. I might be a little concerned that some of the objects in my house are going to be starting moving around my home or going to move, that I might bring some level of activity. Which is kind of unsettling when you're living with it,
Yeah, for sure.
But I wouldn't, which I've had happen.
But when I leave somewhere, I always say, thank you for communicating, but you have to stay here. Don't come with me.
I always did that at Slater Mill. Well, I forgot a couple of times. I tried to always do that when I was employed at Slater Mill. Not every work day, but if I was doing some paranormal experiment or directing a ghost hunt, I'd always thank the spirit. We'd have some. And I have my brother lead us in that sometimes. We thank you. We are here to explore the mysteries of creation. We came in peace, and that is how we leave you. So that's what my brother would say. And, we'd always do some kind of closing. Thank you so much. I would say, please do not follow us from this building. Bell Witch Cave in Tennessee. Story was creepy.
Yeah.
I'm not too, is that?
Yeah, so Bell Witch was... So what most people would know the Bell Witch story as is
an American haunting?
No, it would be even though it is different, its famous involvement was the Blair Witch.
Blair Witch. Well, that movie scared me because you were
it inspired the Blair Witch, yeah. So if
the Bell Witch was a true case.
It was a true case. But Blair Witch is inspired.
What was that? Was that they said the Bell Witch Cave though?
Yeah, the Bell Witch Cave. So it's in a forest, And
yeah, I've heard of it.
yeah.
That's
what kind of cat do you have?
I have a black cat.
Yeah, but what kind is it? He looks so fluffy.
It's like a mix of I don't know.
You want to pick him up? He'll get hairs all over me.
I don't know what he is. Maybe if there's.
Oh, hi, baby. Oh my gosh, I love him. Oh, he's so pretty.
Oh, he feels nice, yeah.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Then
Sorry.
Well, James, look at him. He loves his attention. He loves his people.
Hi, baby.
That's Chance.
Oh, he's so pretty. Oh. Thanks. I just wanted to see him. I kept seeing him walking around. I'm like,
Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
hey.
Now that's an attachment. Yeah.
I
don't have a limp person. I don't want to get the hairs.
Could you imagine if you just started like lashing on my neck? Like I feel like Siegfried and Roy back there. That's totally messed up.
I agree with Ron. I have a phobia of dolls as well. Would not sleep with a doll. Nope. Never owned a Barbie.
It was supposed to have a presence in it. I don't want to wake up and see it standing on the bed. I do have that kind of superstition.
And don't take that as like me being egotistical or narcissistic or anything.
No, that you slept with the doll?
That I slept with the doll. I think in reality, if you study and research and investigate these claims, some forms, when we're dealing with people, we have to be cautious of how we approach things because we're dealing with people's homes and dealing with people's livelihoods. But when it comes to wanting to understand the unknown, I didn't think it would be a risk sleeping with this doll. I didn't think I would wake up possessed. I think if I had these thoughts and these preconceived notions that this would occur, maybe it would be possible because I would put myself in that place.
Well, at least you didn't wake up alone. I did.
Well, I was right. No.
You were there.
I was right there.
If I needed you, you were around the corner.
I was right there with you in spirit, my friend. But Karen, I love you very much, and I have no doll to sleep with tonight. But it is getting late.
Yes, it is. I know.
Another doll to sleep with.
I have another doll to sleep with tonight. Yeah, Annabelle Jr.
Well, thank you again, and we have to plan our next date.
Let's do it right now. Let's do it. Ready?
I thank everybody for joining us. Thank you, everybody.
We'll be between Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day when we do that.
When is Valentine's? Oh, it is 14th, Sunday the 14th.
And the St. Patrick's Day is always the 17th of March.
We should. Oh my God! We should do it on Ash Wednesday, so we all have ashes.
Oh, what a memory! I was in a house fire on Ash Wednesday last year, and I saved the house and I saved the lady's life.
I will have ashes on my head.
Almost lost my life in that. Very close.
Let's do it.
And yet I saved. I saved 2 lives if you consider mine. Like I saved myself too.
That was a crazy story.
Almost didn't make it out of that house. That was so close. No, there was a house fire. I was there, and it is by literally by seconds that I made my way out of there. I am surprised we're having this conversation. Troy Hanley says, thanks, another great show. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy. It was a little less serious this time. I apologize. But we
always go off.
But we should actually call the shows Brews and Hash. For that.
Yes.
Brews and Hash.
So just so everybody knows, because we do have some new people that are watching, which I'm grateful for, but I have them on once a month because I love them so much. They're awesome.
I'm the mature one, right?
That's
pretty bad if I'm the mature one here.
But yeah, so we have to make our next date.
The 17th.
The 17th of February.
Yes.
Okay.
Can't miss it.
We'll do it. 17th of
February.
We can dress in red for Valentine's Day. Somebody has a birthday. I shouldn't say just when it is, but somebody I know has a birthday right within a week of that show. It's
I wonder who that is.
9 days after her birthday.
I bet it's Elise.
I can't.
Mine is.
I can't say. I've said too much already.
Mine's on a Tuesday. Unfortunately, it won't be on a Wednesday.
Oh,
when is it?
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Yep. Well, hey,
I'm going to be 29.
29. I can believe that.
You got to remember, 29. They only turn 29 once.
Yeah, right. You? Yeah, well, me, Tara.
No, I've been turning 29 every year since I was 29.
Well, I turned 29. That's how I got to be 30.
Yeah, I'm 30.
But all right, so yeah, everybody is giving very a lot of good feedback.
Thank you.
Oh yes, everybody. Share. It's
a very eclectic discussion. We jump from one thing to the other.
Oh yeah, but we always do, right?
I like that.
With great vernacular too. But to be honest with you, seriously, I swore a lot tonight, but I watched The Greatest Show. I know Nick Cage is watched up, but on Netflix, it is The History of Swearing. And it is the greatest show ever because that's Nick Cage. And the first opening monologue is him saying every swear word possible. And it's him posing, fuck this. Oh. And it's like all his movie reenactments too. So like this face off and stuff like that. And he's swearing. So like,
awesome.
If you haven't watched it on Netflix, it's The History of Swearing.
Yeah, I know that is an excellent production. I like to think I'm a little more refined on the air. Like you'll never hear me say fuck. I will not go there.
No.
It's so easy to roll off the tongue. I avoid it.
He did. We were on.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
We were on. Not all the time.
It was FM radio.
It was FM radio, and we're used to like being a little loose,
off the cuff.
Off the cuff, and he dropped the word. He was like, "You're like, excuse me, we're on the air."
Oh, we can't say
you won't be asked back again.
Shit, and it was in context. Yeah. It was in context. I forget why that word was. Yeah. They said, "Oh, we can't say that."
I know.
I don't know if they had their 8-second delay where they could edit it. I apologized if they couldn't. But.
I know you said shit. That's all you said.
That's all.
Greg said, "Didn't know we could swear. We'll step it up next time."
We'll step it up a notch. Turn up that volume.
We will have a swear competition, Greg.
Do it. All right. Well, I will let you guys go.
Thank you.
And I will see you guys.
Happy to come back.
Yes, February 17th.
Baby.
Lock it in. Love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you.
Bye.